Hello everyone, this tutorial is for those who are interested in this C++2E library but have encountered difficulties in learning. I myself am a mature C++ beginner. During my study, I encountered some concepts that I didn't quite understand, such as renderer and interactive screen. I think for non-science major people like me, the most difficult concept to understand is renderer. For instance, why can't we add widgets to the screen in the form of commands like other libraries but need to wrap it with renderer first? First of all, the tools provided by this library are roughly divided into three categories. The first is screen. It's like a canvas. You put your creation on this canvas. The second is elements. They are static. You click with the mouse or press the keyboard. There will be no effects such as text boxes. Generally speaking, it is only responsible for displaying some text. The last is components. They can be clicked by your mouse. Pressing the keyboard will also affect them, such as buttons, input boxes. In this video, we'll first explain those static elements, then we'll explain those interactive things and the principles behind them, especially the renderer, and we will make one ourselves. To simply display static elements is easy. Just like many other libraries, you create a single element or a container type element that contains many other elements. Then you throw them into the screen, call the screen's print method, and let the elements appear on the screen. But we use this library not for these static things. We want to click and input something. How to involve from the elements and screens just mentioned to interactive dynamic components. Components as a more advanced existence cannot simply be displayed with the simplest static screen. You need a dynamic interactive screen and put them in these advanced screen. This is easy to understand, right? So what is the relationship between elements and components? Simply put, static elements can be converted into dynamic components or parts of dynamic components through the renderer. When creating a renderer, you need to pass in two parameters. The first parameter is a list of all the interactive dynamic components on your screen. If you only have a simple button, you can just pass in this button itself. Or if you have two buttons, you need to put them in a container as the first parameter to pass into the renderer. In this way, the program will know that when there is a mouse click or a keyboard press, it should seek which components to help. The second parameter of the renderer is an anonymous function. This function actually acts like a list, which you use to describe what your screen layout should look like. In this layout description, you can add those static elements. This is different from the first parameter. The first parameter can only have those interactive dynamic components. Why do we want to design our interface in this way? If you have studied design pattern, this is called the decorator pattern. The goal is not to change the first parameter, but to extend their rendering styles. The render itself is like a painter. Its first parameter is the person it paints as a painter. The painter can paint with his own style and ideas, can change the colors, styles he uses, but the final result needs to let others see who he is painting. If someone wants to ask the model some questions, the person asking the question gives the question to the painter, and the painter hands it over to the model. After the model answers, the painter recounts it to the questioner. In this way, from the outside, it looks as if the painter himself is answering the question.